Hey everyone, today I'm going to be showing you how to make this ocean scene. If you want to learn how to make it, just keep on watching. You're going to need a shell. I got mine from my local craft store. You're going to need some glue and something to mix your stuff in. I'm using a paint palette. You will be needing some white craft sand or whatever colored sand you want, and some epoxy resin. Some UV resin and some crafting tools to help you out. Next, you will be needing some polymer clay. It doesn't matter what colors you use because it's what type of look you're going for. This is totally optional, but I'm using these seashell beads, some pearl beads, and some pearly X to add some shine to my pieces. Next, grabbing one of my paint palettes, I'm putting some UV resin in, and we're going to add some of that craft sand in, and we're just going to mix that up. Next, I'm just grabbing that mixture that we just made and putting that all over the seashell to create that sanded look, and I'm just basically painting it on. I'm just pouring some extra sand on top and then just using a UV torch to cure it. Next, I'm just rolling out some scrap clay. This is going to be used for the base for the coral reef, and I'm putting it into an arch because there is an arch in the back of the shell, and that's where my coral reef will be sitting at. This is where my coral reef is going to be sitting. As you can see here, I have it in the back of the arch. You don't have to put it there, it's wherever you want to. Now, starting the coral reef, I'm just grabbing some yellow clay. You can grab whatever color you want, and basically we're just going to roll that out into like a half cylinder pointed end type of thing. And next, you're going to just grab a dotting tool, and we're just going to poke with the top to kind of create a hole on top, and you're going to do that for like 5 of them. Once you got all those 5 cone shapes done, you're basically going to put them all together and add some texture on the outside and reshape the holes on top because they will lose your shape if you accidentally like squish it while you're putting the texture on the side. Here I'm just grabbing some bacon bond. You don't need it because when we use resin later on, it's going to hold everything together. But here I'm just adding it to my pieces to create a stronger bond. Get a note, you don't need it because of the resin that we're using later on. Here I'm just grabbing some pink clay. You can grab whatever. And we're going to use a pointed needle tool. And you're just going to poke it all around to create kind of like a rough texture. Next, grabbing another color of clay, we're going to roll that out, flatten it out, and kind of create an in and out texture to create another piece of coral. This is what the coral will look like so far. And next, we're just going to add balls to it. I'm just basically doing all the coral that we did in the previous clips, but just in different colors just to fill it up. This is what it would look like once it's done and completed. Yours may look different because of the colors you used, which is totally okay. Next step is to put it in the oven. Make sure you follow your package instructions for how long to bake it and what time because you don't want to burn it. This is mine once it's nice and baked. I made an octopus, a stingray, some starfish, and a turtle and a mermaid. If you want some tutorials about it, just leave it down in the comments below and I will definitely do it. You are going to need some glaze. You can use UV resin and some pearly X. Next, I'm just pouring some of that glaze in and some pearly X. I'm just basically going to mix it up to create the glaze. You don't have to do this, but basically I'm just adding the gold to the coral just for it to stand out more. This next step is pretty easy. All you're going to do is grab your glue and just glue everything into place, and make sure it is dry before adding your epoxy resin. This is what mine looked like once all the glue was dry and where I wanted everything. There you see I'm using the beads, the shells, everything, and I glued it all and let it dry before I'm pouring my resin. Next up, we're using epoxy resin. Make sure to grab equal parts of it and put them together and mix them thoroughly. And you just want to keep mixing them and mixing them and mixing them until they're well combined. You want to make sure that is number one key. Next, I just added some blue dye to mine to kind of create that ocean feel, and I'm basically pouring it all over my shell. You'll notice in the back that I have the sprinkles container, and I'm basically just putting my shell up at an angle so that my resin doesn't fall out. Next, I just blew out all the bubbles so there's no bubbles, and I'm letting it cure for 24 hours now. This is what mine looked like after 24 hours. Make sure to leave any suggestions down below if you want me to do a future tutorial, and be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know when I'm posting. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye guys!